Hey, my name's Tom Granger from advancedclient.io. In this video, I am going to show you a outbound system for modern B2B companies. I'm going to run you through exactly what you should do, how you should set it up, what it looks like, how best to utilize automations, how best to utilize physical members of your team, so SDRs, how to make it the most efficient system possible. So I'm going to walk you all the way throughout this flowchart. It's going to show you exactly what to do, how it works. I'm going to explain my theory behind it, okay? But before we jump in, remember to like, remember to subscribe for more B2B outbound videos. And if you'd like, there are 7 free B2B outbound trainings in the first link in our bio, okay? So let's jump in. Now, if we look over here on the far side, we have your product or service. So this is the thing that you want to sell to the market, okay? So whether that is a service, whether that is a software, but whether that is, something physical that you're manufacturing, but it's a B2B thing, then you want to send it to people. It doesn't matter what it is, you've got your product or service, okay? Now, to sell your product or service, you need to understand your market, okay? So who are you actually selling this to? Now, within your market, you have your total available market, and this is the total amount of people within the entire world that are relevant to your product or service, okay? Now, what people typically do is they say, okay, so our ICP is X, Y, or Z. Let's just run some filters, and we can see now that we have a total available market of 1 million people, okay? But the problem is, in most circumstances, this is not a total accurate number of your total available market. And the reason for this is that not everyone in your market is contactable. Okay, and you also have to remember as well, if we look at this sort of Venn diagram that I've set up here, you at any one time within your market, there is only really around 3% of people that are ready and able to buy your solution at that time. Okay, so that means that 97% of your market are not in the position, either financially, budget-wise, in the right mental space, don't understand that they have the pain, haven't, found that this is a big problem yet for them, or just haven't got to that level, and they're just not ready to buy, okay? So I made the circle a little bit bigger within this larger circle here, just so it could be represented, but this is not an accurate size. It is really only around 3% of your market that are ready to buy. Now, within your total available market as well, you have to understand that there are different categories of ways that you can contact people. So the 3 main sort of B2B outbound methods are cold email, LinkedIn, and cold calls. Okay, there are other things as well, but these are the 3 main ones that people set up. Okay, so within the total available market, you've got a certain sect of people, if we look over here, that are phone active. And that means that they're ready to be contacted by phone, okay? So they pick up their phone, they're active. This is typically the smallest section, I would say, of your market, because most people are not that receptive to cold calls. Some people are, and that's why it is a small section of the market, okay? Now, you also have people that are cold email active. And I typically find from our efforts that there is more people that are cold email active than any other sector of that total available market, okay? So there are people, quite a significant chunk of people that are cold email active. Most people that are running modern B2B businesses have to use email, okay? So if they have to use email, then it's likely that you can get an email into their inbox and you can speak to them, okay? And then you've got a section that's LinkedIn active. Remember, LinkedIn is a huge database. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn, but not everybody is on LinkedIn. So there is only a smaller sector as well. Now, there are obviously overlaps as well. So you've got people that are active on LinkedIn, active on cold email, active on phone, and then you've got some people that are active in all 3 as well. Okay, so that's how the Venn diagram works. And within your ready to buy segment, again, you've got that overlap. You've got people that are cold email active, phone active, LinkedIn active, and you've got those overlaps there as well. So that's why we build this system to cover all of these angles to ensure that we're getting a maximum efficiency from our outreach. Okay, so now we have our total available market. How do we determine this ready to buy ICP? How do we isolate them? How do we find out who they are? Okay, so there's a few different methods to do that. And the way that we like to do it is by leveraging AI. Okay, so we leverage AI by looking at call reviews. So this is recorded sales calls that you have taken within your team. If you're not recording your sales calls, then take this as a warning to start recording your sales calls. It's incredibly powerful data that you can leverage to really refine your ICP and find out exactly what's going on within the business. So what we do is we take 10, 15, 20 transcripts of calls that have been won and calls that have been lost, and then we input that into ChatGPT or another sort of LLM. You could use Claude for this as well. It doesn't really matter. And then we get it to analyze the transcripts themselves. So we're looking for common themes among people that have won, that we've won, so become sales and new customers for us, and people that have a lot that we've lost as well. So why have they not become customers? Because having negative data is just as important as having positive data as well, so that we can get rid of any biases that we already have as well. So we're reviewing call reviews, we're using AI, and then you can also analyze your top customers as well. So look at the people that have had the longest lifetime value with you, so stuck around for the most amount of time, people that have had the best success stories, and the people that have been the easiest for you to work with, because that is also important as well when it comes to determining who your ideal client profile is. Okay, so all of these things will allow you to put together your ICP. And when we're actually defining your ICP, this is things like industry, niche, location, headcount, revenue, growth rate, tech stack. Any of these can be relevant to your ICP, and we're looking for all of these within the call reviews and with the research that we've done within the industry itself. Okay. So now that we've determined our ready to buy ICP, we actually have to go and generate leads of these people, okay? So one of the ways that we like to do this initially is by leveraging Clay or Ocean.io, which are both tools that we can utilize to generate lookalike audiences. So lookalike audiences take into account a number of companies that you can input into them, typically your best or favorite companies or companies that you want to work with. And then what it does is it goes and it generates a list of companies that are very similar to your ideal client profile. So let's just say you've got 5 companies that you're desperate to work with. You know that they're in your ICP. We input those 5 companies into Clay or Ocean, and then that produces a list of companies that are very similar to them, and that allows us to have really, really leveraged and sort of hyper-personalized and hyper-relevant outreach to those people, okay? So that's typically what we do when we're starting off with a client. We'll pull together sort of 5 dream clients or 5 clients that have had the most success with. We'll build a lookalike audience, and then we will leverage those in our outreach. Okay, so that'll be the sort of initial campaign. Get some great results, great successes straight away. Okay, alongside that as well, you can also just do general list building. So utilizing the filters that we've already determined. So industry, niche, location, headcount, revenue, growth rate, tech stack, all those sort of things. We put that together and we build lists. Okay, from here we get lists of companies. So now we have lists of companies from the lookalike audience and the list building that we've done. Okay, from here we want to do some sort of AI qualification as well. So there may be things within your business or within your qualification metrics that you want to find out about a company. Okay, maybe that is, they've got this qualification, or they've got this certification, or they're based here, or they work with these sort of companies. Whatever it may be, we like to leverage AI agents and AI bots to go out and find that information for us. Okay, so by building out this qualification criteria, this allows us to score the companies. Okay, so we can score the companies on preset criteria, and we can give every single company a score. Okay, so that means that maybe it's a score out of 10, score out of 5, whatever it may be, but we can see where they rank, and obviously the higher the score, the more qualified they are for us, the better of an example they are for us, and the more we sort of want to work with them. Okay, so now that we have scored the companies, we want to enrich these companies further with people. So we want to find people within these companies to actually reach out to. And again, this goes back to the ready to buy segment, the research that we found, the job titles within that as well. Okay, so we want to enrich them with LinkedIn, email, and phone number. And to do this, we leverage Clay for all of our enrichment, and we also utilize Find Email within Clay to find all of our email addresses, and we're starting to do this for phone numbers as well. Okay, now we're also going to do some AI research on these prospects as well. So what information can we find out about these prospects that is readily available online? Maybe LinkedIn posts, maybe blog posts that they posted, maybe news articles that they've been involved in. Whatever it may be, we can find out that information as long as it's readily available online and that someone could search it up. Okay, so what this does is it saves hours and hours of time that typically an SDR would have to go through a list one by one and find relevant information. We can do that all manually, okay? And so we can do that all automatically. So we make it really, really easy, okay? And we cut out loads and loads of wasted time and hours of time that SDRs could spend actually speaking to prospects and doing something useful, okay? So once we've done our AI research, we're also going to data clean and normalize everything as well. So make sure that job titles are normalized, company names are normalized, everything is nice and clean, and it's ready for us to use in our outreach, okay? So nothing looks weird, everything looks natural, and it all looks good, okay? We're also going to do some prospect qualification as well. So again, based upon those preset criteria that we're looking for, and this will allow us to get a lead score. So we'll have a total lead score. So we'll have the company score, and then we'll have the actual individual prospect score, and this will allow us to build a total score for that entire lead, okay? So this is super important. Scoring leads, so important, because it allows us to determine what we're going to do with that lead itself. So what we like to do is we like to split up our leads into two different sort of trees here, okay? So this moves into infrastructure over here. So now let's say that the lead score is really high. We can see that these guys are super qualified. They're desperate for our service. We've got buying signals. We've got, we've got AI qualification. They're scoring really high. Everything looks fantastic. We've got great data to contact them, okay? What we would then do is then push that information to an SDR. And this is where SDRs come in handy so much, okay? And this is where the benefit of an SDR in 2024 and beyond is going to come into play, okay? Because there is still a lot of space out there for really high touch, relevant, personalized outreach to people that are really good fits for your service, okay? Where people are seeing and struggling with SDRs at the moment is that they're wasting time on list building, on data cleaning, on enrichment, on automation, all these things that could be outsourced to somebody else. Let them handle it, and then let the SDRs focus on the high scoring leads within their market that are ready to buy, and then they'll have much better conversion rates. They won't be getting burnt out as much. They'll be happier, they'll be closing more, you'll be making more money, and everyone will be happier, okay? So if a lead score is really high, this is where our SDRs focus. This is what this green square represents, so this sort of green highlight that we've got over here. And then what an SDR can then do is, they can contact them in multitudes of different ways. It could be a cold email, hyper-personalized, manually written cold email. It's really powerful. LinkedIn connections, phone them up, in-person visit, a letter or a gift, anything that's hyper-personalized to that person. And what this allows the SDRs to do is to create hyper-personalized, relevant information, because they're working with a smaller group of really high-quality leads instead of a large group, and then they have to do really bad automated personalization. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look natural. No one's happy with it. Okay, so we've got the messaging here, so this all pushes it into messaging that we've crafted them. So this is custom for each prospect. So an SDR can, as I just mentioned, that can spend the time to create custom messaging because they know that these people are super qualified. They're happy. Everyone's super qualified in this circle here, and they can spend a lot more time pushing onto that. Okay, so from the messaging, you're either going to get positive responses or negative responses. If you're getting lots of negative responses, you need to go back to messaging, working out what's wrong, why people are not resonating with it. That can go back to your ICP, and that can go back to your product and service. Do you have proper product market fit, or are the leads that you're scraping, again, relevant, or do we need to sort of tweak that and work it out from there? If you're getting a lot of positive responses, this is fantastic. This then gets moved into the CRM. Now, I'm going to jump back into the infrastructure because we want to cover what we'll do if a lead score is mid or low. Okay, so we've got a sort of mid to, maybe a 7 out of 10 to sort of 5 out of 10, and then maybe you've got them below that as well. So you know that they could get use out of your service, but they're not super qualified, and you don't want to put a lot of manpower into reaching out to them. This is where automation comes into play. And this is where the benefit of automation comes from, okay? So we're going to automate our outreach in a number of different ways. The first one being LinkedIn. So LinkedIn automated outreach, okay? So you'll need a LinkedIn account for this, or an SDR would need their LinkedIn account, and you connect it up to a tool like LA Growth Machine. So this is what we're using at the moment. So with messaging with LinkedIn, it's different to cold email. Cold email is a little bit more formal, a little bit more traditional in a sense, but LinkedIn, you want to be very sort of light, conversational. You're using social media language, okay? So how do people communicate on LinkedIn? It's a little bit more less formal. It's a little bit more relaxed. It doesn't have to be like you're texting a friend, but again, we can just tone that language down a little bit, make it light, make it conversational, and just make it relaxed. I'm sure you've all probably received emails that are super formal, and they just bore your brains out, okay? Nobody reads them, nobody replies to them. The best success that we have have with LinkedIn, keeping things light, keeping it conversational, okay? Social media language, and front load value as well, so free stuff. So just send over free stuff straight away, okay? If you're connecting with someone, connect with them and go, boom, here's some free stuff for you, okay? You know, you don't have to say, let's jump on a call or let's, work out synergies or any of that rubbish, okay? We want to do light, personal, relaxed, and lots of free value, okay? So from a campaign side of things, we want to be sending out connection requests without any request notes. This increases the chance of you getting connected. Typically when someone sends a connection request note, they're trying to sell you something and people can smell that straight away. We don't want to be going in for the hard sell on LinkedIn unless your offer is crazy, okay? So we have auto messages, we can automate people that have engaged with your content. So this is why we use LA Growth Machine. So if someone's liked your profile, viewed your profile, we can reach out to them automatically based upon those trigger points. And then from a campaign perspective, we want to have sort of 2 or 3 messages, voice notes, videos, and lots of value. So change it up a little bit. You don't need to worry about videos with LinkedIn because it's not cold email. It's not going to land in spam. It'll land in their LinkedIn inbox. So you can send videos, you can send voice notes, just sort of change it up a little bit, break the mold and sort of grab people's attention, okay? And what we like to do is we like to wait 5 to 7 days before messaging after connecting, okay? You can push that out further, 10 days, 15 days. And the reason for this is that allows them time to have engaged with your content, to have seen your content, and overall, they've seen that you're an expert in what you do, brilliant, they're happy with everything, they've had a chance to check you out, and it's not just you've connected with them and then messaged them straight away, okay? So it comes off more friendly and more personal. So that's what we like to do, okay? Now, the other way that you can automate your outreach is through cold email, and this is our bread and butter. This is what we really love to do for businesses, okay? So cold email is a little bit more complex than LinkedIn outreach because it requires some other infrastructure in the back end. So the way that this works is you're going to need domains and you're going to need email accounts, okay? So cold email, you're required to have multiple different domains and email accounts to reach out. We do not reach out with our main domain ever under any circumstances. So if you're watching this video and you learn anything from this about cold email, do not reach out with your main domain under any circumstances, okay? You will burn through that domain, you will run it into the ground, and it will cause you a lot of problems in the future. So do not do that, okay? So take my advice, please do not do that. What we do is we buy lots and lots of secondary domains, okay? So we like to use GoDaddy or Porkbun to buy all of our domains. Every domain is then set up correctly with the correct DNS record. So this is SPF, DMARC, and DKIM. I have other videos explaining this in more detail. So if you're curious about how to do that, you can do that. And then for every domain, we then have an email account. So we like to diversify this a little bit, so spread them across Google Workspace and Microsoft Outlook. So every domain, you could have 1 or you could have 2 emails per domain. We typically just have 1 email per domain. So the way it works is you have a domain, you have an email account attached to that domain, and then you build them out within Google Workspace and within Microsoft Outlook as well, okay? So all of these domains are then forwarded to your main landing page, so that if anyone searches them up, it takes them to your main landing page, your main website, and all of those emails and domains are then put with inside Instantly. So Instantly is your sending automation platform. So in the same way that LA Growth Machine is your automation platform for LinkedIn, Instantly is your automation platform for cold email, okay? So we put all of those email accounts and domains within Instantly, and then we allow them to warm up for 2 weeks, okay? So we need to make sure that all of our domains have warmed for 2 weeks so that they've built up their reputation and they're ready to send emails, okay? So they're ready to send emails into and make sure that it lands directly into the prospect's inbox, okay? So while they're warming up, we want to do a few things. We want to build out messaging. So within cold email, this is a sort of crash course on how to write a good cold email, okay? So the first thing that you need to understand is that cold emails should be short and concise, okay? You do not want to be messing around with really long cold emails. They need to be pain focused. So as in, you need to understand what is the pain that you're solving in the market. What are you solving for your prospects? Using relevant case studies, so hyper relevant case studies, okay? And this is what going back to your segmentation and your lead scraping, your list building, your lead scoring, all of this, relevant case studies to that segment of the market, having a strong offer, having soft CTA, so things like, can I send you some more information? Are you interested in more information, etc., etc. Always spam word checked as well. So we like to use the free tool by Mail Meteor. I can leave that in the link below so you can check that out. And this allows you to check all of your scripts for spam words, and then you can clean your scripts of spam words and ensure that what you're sending is spam word free. We like to send all of our emails as plain text, so no links within there, no HTML. We don't track opens or anything along those lines, okay? Keep it super, super clean, and lots of spin tags. I have a lot more videos covering how to write good cold emails. So if you want an in-depth guide, go on the channel and check that out. We've got loads of them, okay? Now, from campaign perspective, we like to do hyper segmented campaigns. So again, breaking your market down into those individual segments within that, within job titles, within pain points, and again, using relevant case studies within the market, okay, that you have for those people, okay. 1 to 2 email sequences, so no more than that. We don't need any more than that. If you're not getting any responses after 2 emails, then it's likely that your emails are going to land in spam, and the 3rd email is not going to save anything. So don't bother with any more than 3 emails. If you're having a campaign that's absolutely crushing it and you're getting loads of responses, then maybe add an extra one on so you can grab even more people, but just sort of take it as it comes. Start with 1 or 2 and then develop it from there, okay? Remember, I've already mentioned this, plain text emails, no HTML. Do not track any opens, don't track links, don't send any links in there. Ensure that you've got provider matching on, so that means that if you've diversified your email infrastructure across Google Workspace and Outlook, if you put provider matcher on, then all of your Outlook ones will send to Outlook emails, and all the Google Workspace will send to Google Workspace, okay? This just increases your deliverability by just a smidge, okay? And then for your subject lines, 1 or 2 word subject lines. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. We like to do lowercase subject lines, just something to break through the mold of the inbox and get clicked. That's the only point you're trying to do, is get clicked. You're not trying to sell your solutions there, okay? Now, we go back, if I scroll up a little bit here, for across both of these campaigns, so LinkedIn and cold email, you will get positive responses and you will also get negative responses. If you're getting lots of negative responses, go back to your messaging, okay? And wait around 3 months, go back to your messaging, try it again, and reach out to them. Just because you've reached out to someone once and they haven't liked it, unless they've told you to unsubscribe from their email, that they don't want to receive any more emails, try them again with a different offer, with different messaging. People are in bad moods on certain days. Maybe they've had an argument with their spouse. Maybe their kids are driving them up the wall. Maybe they've just, had a bad day with their boss or whatever it may be. People have bad days. That's normal. So they may have just responded out of anger to your email. Unless they told you specifically that they want to unsubscribe and don't want to receive emails, then reach out to them again with different messaging, different offer, and try again, okay? You don't need to burn your entire market within one campaign. Now, hopefully you're getting lots and lots of positive responses, okay? And the way that we manage this with cold email, and something that's sort of really underrated within cold email, is inbox management. You have to have amazing inbox management for your cold emails, okay? So we have a dedicated inbox manager for our business and for our clients, because we're super busy. I'm recording this video right now. If we have an email come in, I can't respond straight away. So we have a dedicated inbox manager that has reply notifications on, so that notifications every time we get a positive response is sent directly to Slack, so they get that information, okay? And they will reply within 15 minutes of getting it. So that is the hygiene standard that we set at our business, is a maximum of 15 minutes. We aim for 5. 5 is brilliant. 15 minutes is a sort of the hygiene standard, so that, the back end of that standard there, okay? The reason for this is that anything above 15 minutes and people have forgotten about your cold email, they've moved on, they've got involved in another task or in a meeting, we want to strike while the iron is hot. Once they've shown interest, let's get them on a call straight away. That is the point, okay? So we template all of our responses, all of our common responses, so that our inbox manager can reply straight away. They're trained up on exactly how to do that. They've got a full workflow that looks just like what you're looking at right now, shows them exactly how to respond depending on how the prospect responds, so they can do this really quickly, okay? And then again, we like a strong push to the call, okay? We don't like to mess around. We like to get them on a call straight away, okay? And the way that we do this is we suggest times in their local time zone. So if I'm based over here in the UK and I'm reaching out to someone on the East Coast of America, I suggest them times in EST. I don't suggest times in British summertime, because then they're going to have to think about it. I suggest times in their time zone so they don't have to think about it, and they can just go ahead and say yes or no, okay? We also send a link to our calendar within that response as well, so if they wanted to, they can go ahead and book it. We want to reduce all the friction to them jumping on a call. We want to make it as easy as possible, okay? That is the goal. So once we've got positive responses from both of these campaigns, this gets pushed to the CRM. Okay, and then this goes back to what the SDR has to do. Okay, so the SDR will then jump onto a discovery call, and depending on how you've set up the business, you might have account executives or something along those lines. But typically, SDRs are taking discovery calls, and this is where we're going to be establishing buying desire, establishing their authority as well as a business, working out what the pain points are for that business and why they've jumped on the call. What are we trying to solve here? And then pushing towards a demo or sales call if they are qualified. And we're really working out, are they qualified for our service? Yes or no. If they are, then we can push them to a demo call. All of this information, so all of these sales calls, they produce transcripts, which we can then, as I mentioned earlier on in the process, this creates beautiful data for us. So the more data that we can collect, the more we can understand exactly what's going on. And all this data gets fed back into our ICP, okay? So the more sales calls we take, the more we understand our ICP, the more we understand exactly how this all works. This all gets fed back into the leads. Everything becomes more efficient as the system moves forward, okay? So once we've done this, once we've done a discovery call, we then move them onto a pre-call flow. So we book them in for a demo call, whether that's the account executive or the business owner, or maybe the SDR is also taking that call as well. Typically, businesses do two call closes. You could do 3 call closes, 4 call closes, depends on what you're selling. But this is a simplified version of it just for the video's sake. Okay. So what we like to do is between calls, we like to send over a pre-call flow. So this is a sequence of emails that are sent over to the prospect between calls with case studies, with interviews, with resources, with frequently asked questions. And the goal here is to sell them on the solution before they've even jumped on the call. So all their questions have been answered. They know what they're in for. They understand how pricing works. They understand how working with us works. So jumping on the call, the person who's taking that call doesn't need to then worry about explaining all that information to them. They've got all that information, they've read it all, they're ready to go, and they're ready to buy. So really, the sales or demo call is about walking through the solution and working out the details of how do we get this moving forward, which is what salespeople should be focused on. Okay, so making sure that they're aware of the pain, this is how to solve it, and then bridging this all to the solution. And again, all this information can then be put back into our data collection and then pushed back into our ICP. Okay, so hopefully, after doing all this, you've got lots and lots of discovery calls, lots and lots of demo calls, and lots of new customers. Okay, so the more customers we get, the more we can feed that back into our data, which all ultimately goes back into our understanding of the market and our ICP as well. So this right here is the outbound system for modern B2B customers, modern B2B companies. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe for more B2B outbound content. Now, if you want something to do next, what I recommend is clicking on the first link in the bio. This will give you access to 7 free B2B outbound trainings that you can run through in your own time, apply them to your own business, and start generating results. Okay? Really, really great stuff, completely free. All you need to do is put in your email and you will be sent those resources. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.